Got a lot to step up to. We'll see what we can do.
Hey, Ralph.
Yeah, Alan.
Ask Hank if he's going to show up this week.
Alan wants to know if you're going to show up this week.
I will show up for Alan this week, so I was auditioning last week.
Yeah.
Now, you know, we talked about this racetrack, how it is so slippery. How do you find the limit for qualifying? You know, you have to go a little bit deeper than you normally would, but you're not so sure where the grip's going to be.
Well, the tires seem to be a lot here. It seems like when you put stickers on, they get a lot more grip, so just drive it till it slips, I guess.
He'll go off 13th today.
Referencing our Inside the NASCAR Busch Series show.
So,
Rick Markle, trouble. Goodbye. Safe. 28.200 on his first lap, but he got away without hitting anything there. And so Rick Markle will bring it back in as the third fastest of the three that have gone so far. Fowlerville, Michigan driver looking to make his fourth Busch Series start this season.
I mean, we're
So
just
they'll
looking to
check
see how we'll hold up here. I don't know if it'll hold up or not. Track, you know, it depends on if the sun pops out. It kind of bit us today in practice. We put up a time we thought was going to be pretty quick, and the guys started putting up more time. So we'll just see how it holds out, and hopefully we'll keep this Pontiac, trim spot Pontiac up front.
let's head back to the other end of pit road and Ralph Shaheen.
Well, Ron Hornaday's just getting belted into his car, ready to go. Ron, we're seeing the guys moving around quite a bit. How are you going to compensate for that when you get out there for your run?
I don't know if you can. It just matters if the thing sticks or not. A little different. It's a little slippery out here, but we're all right. I mean, I think we're the only ones that did one lap of qualifying run. We were pretty quick, so I just got to say I hope my daughter's feeling better. She's in the hospital right now, and we're thinking about you, babe.
Ron Hornaday set to come out in another 6 cars. This is Mike Harmon on track now. Looking to see if he can better his 2 previous qualifying efforts here at Pikes Peak of 36th and 38th in 2001 and 2002. First lap was 4th fastest. Second lap is going to be a little bit quicker, but keep him 4th in the rankings. 27.79 for Mike Harmon. So Harmon is in the show. 44 cars here, but one did not make a practice lap. The Drew White entry did not record a time in practice, so he should not be allowed under rules to qualify unless there's some extenuating circumstance as to why he couldn't make that practice lap. So we should be just running here for positions in the field and pit picks for tomorrow's race. Jamie Mosley up next. Kentucky State Police dispatcher from London, Kentucky. His first NASCAR Busch Series effort here at Pikes Peak, seeking his 3rd career start. He also ran at Nashville and Chicagoland earlier this season, and he's riding the very edge of that upper lane.
He's pretty high up there in 1 and 2.
This is one of Jay Robinson's Fords that Mosley is behind the wheel of. And he will be the slowest of all of the cars that have run so far. Push.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a big push.
All right, well, I thought he was going to give it up there after that, but
I believe the first lap will be his best.
yep. But Jamie Mosley should be in the field for his 3rd Busch Series start. And his first ever here at Pikes Peak International Raceway. Second lap will be half a second slower than the first. And Mosley 6th out of the 6 that have gone so far. NASCAR Busch Series qualifying from Pikes Peak International.
Track's cooled down a bunch, so I hope it stands, but I don't think it will. There's a lot of fast cars out there.
You told me you felt the wind.
Well, you can feel the cool temperature. I mean, we picked up 6/10, so we've never hit the chip all day long, and we took some gear out of it. We took some more gear out just for qualifying, so we definitely left a lot on the table, but we'll take it. It's a good run for us, and we needed that for the AC Douglas Chevrolet.
Let's go back to Ralph Shaheen.
Well, Scott Riggs is climbing into his Nesquik entry here. Scott, we're seeing wind gusts between 25 and 30 miles an hour, blowing you on the backside down the front straightaway and straight into your face coming down the backstretch. How do you deal with that?
Well, I think I just I need it to blow me down the front straightaway and blow me down the back straightaway. I'd be in good shape, but everybody's doing a good job on this Nesquik Ford. We didn't quite unload where we needed to, but made a lot of great gains, and let's see what we got here.
All right, he's got his head set to get in there, and he's ready to go, Alan.
All right, watching Brad Teague finish his qualifying run. Wally, talk about the wind, how it affects a race car here.
Well, you would think that coming off a 2, the car would pick up a big push. You've got all this wind going down into turn 1, but the way the cars arc in the corner, I don't think it affects them really getting in, but you would think the cars would pick up that big push as you get off a 2. That air comes right down the back straightaway. So we'll see what these guys say after their run, see if they're feeling that.
You could just hear the wind howling in some of the microphones that are out around the racetrack for the car sound. It's really blowing pretty well here. It doesn't look like there's any rain closing in. It might be raining in downtown Colorado Springs, about 20 miles from here, but it doesn't look like it's in danger of closing in on the racetrack. But the wind is certainly going to change things as these drivers continue to make laps. Here's Justin Ashburn for his Bud Pole qualifying run. 21 years old, Jolton, Tennessee, his hometown. Made 7 starts so far this season. Best qualifying run was at Nazareth, Pennsylvania, where he posted the 29th best time. And this is his first trip around Pikes Peak International Raceway in qualifying trim.
And these guys look like they're really letting these cars float into the corners. They're letting the cars roll in, which tells me there's not a lot of grip in this racetrack. I mean, it's better than it's been all day, but normally you'd want to charge the corners, or I would if I was going to qualify. But it looks like these guys are real. You can hear them getting out of the throttle, and it's just real nice and easy getting into the corners.
First lap for Justin was the slowest of the 14 cars that have run so far.
Well, maybe he's rolling in a little bit too much.
I will have to admit that the speed differential between the fast cars and the slow cars in the field here this week is probably a little bit bigger than we've seen in some time.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
There are a lot of guys that are really struggling here this weekend. A lot of the backmarker teams are struggling to find the speed they need to be competitive. Justin, 14th out of 14 so far. How's our championship leader feel about his run, Mark?
Well,
Speed presented by Johnsonville. It's NASCAR Busch Series qualifying from Pikes Peak International Raceway on Speed Channel. Jeff Fuller is out on track now in Joe Nemechek's 87. Qualified 5th for this race, 1999. And looking to make his 7th NASCAR Busch Series start of the season. 10th fastest on lap 1. Jeff's brother Rick involved in a nasty crash in the NASCAR Modified Series race up at New Hampshire International Speedway a week ago. Talked with Jeff earlier today in the garage area, and he said Rick is doing much, much better. In fact, had hopes of competing in this weekend's Modified Series race.
Yeah, I talked to Jeff as well. It's good to hear for Rick.
It was a
That was
nasty
a hard
crash.
hit.
Lap 2 for Jeff Fuller. Going to leave him in 10th spot. Very close times. Time-wise, a 7:38 and a 7:47. So 10th out of 15 for Jeff Fuller. Ralph.
Yeah, it was fun. No, you're right, Ralph. The Pikes Peak Hill Climb, I've only done it one time, but I'll tell you what, it was probably one of the most, that was a blast. I mean, that was a lot of fun. And then I believe the Vascholts now own Pikes Peak. It was, Unser's had the most wins there for a long time, but I believe they're at the top with the most win column, most win column right now.
Here's Mike Potter, one of the drivers you can expect to start, run a few laps, and then park in tomorrow's race. Johnson City, Tennessee driver in his 10th race of the season, and that's what he's done in all of the 9 previous. So, field filler in down economic times. And Mike Potter is slowest of the 17 cars that have run so far, and way off the pace, about 3 seconds slow. Mike Bliss was not off the pace by much, huh, Mark? Regan Smith has just finished his Bud Pole qualifying run here at Pikes Peak International Raceway. Second car out of George Jebedart's shops for the weekend. And his time is going to put him in 14th out of 19 so far for the 19-year-old from New York State.
Looks like he struggled both laps.
Or the new?
The new ones.
Yeah.
I want one bad.
Very, very slick. John Hayden is on the track now. Owensboro, Kentucky driver looking to make his 5th NASCAR Busch Series start. 19th out of 22 on lap 1 in his qualifying. I saw those GT40s up at the Ford Centennial, the 100th anniversary celebration in Dearborn.
So cool. My dad drove one around Cleveland a couple weeks ago when the IndyCar race was up at Cleveland. Guy had one of the new ones out. And my son was there, Jacob. He took pictures, brought it back to me, and rubbed it in my nose when he got home. But yeah, they're pretty neat.
Yeah, they had them then. They're set up next to the original, some of the restored original GT40s from Le Mans in '67, and
those things are worth some bucks.
Yeah. John Hayden, 19th out of 22. Local favorite for the weekend is with Ralph. Jason White out on track now with his 2 laps of qualifying just after Stacy Compton took over the lead.
Whoa, hang on, Jason. I think he'll have enough after that.
15th fastest on his first lap.
Gonna finish it off. Look pretty loose getting in there.
I hope finish it off isn't.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. Jason from the Richmond, Virginia area, 24-year-old. 23rd at New Hampshire, his best start so far this season. He could better that today. 15th fastest out of 25 for Jason White. Nice run for Ashton Lewis, huh, Mark?
Wait a minute.
Certainly.
Okay, they're racing today.
The ARCA race from June.
No, I know it got rained out, but they're racing today.
They're racing it Friday afternoon.
And then another one tomorrow.
And then another one tomorrow.
Got it.
Okay.
I understand now.
Paul Menard ran while you were away in the break. 16th fastest time in Andy Petrie's car.
Hey, he picked it up a half a second on a second lap. Good second lap.
And this is Rick Sanders looking to make his debut out of Kansas. And I would say that it's not going to be a very speedy debut.
No.
That's a Wally's World lap.
Come on.
Give you more credit?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Ralph, what do you got?
Earlier today about the fact that they looked at your tires at the Research Development Center. They didn't see anything wrong. They sent them off to the lab anyways, but basically a clean bill of health, and that's what you expected, right? You knew they were okay.
Yeah, I knew. I mean, are you surprised? Nah, I mean, I'm just super proud of Joe Shear and all those guys that work on that 43 Channel Lock Curves car. They didn't get a lot of credit last week, and I felt bad for them. We had a great race car, and unfortunately had motor trouble, but just I'm real fortunate to be driving for 2 real good teams, driving for Richard Childress, driving the 21 car, and you know, we're leading the owners' points there, and it's just been a pretty exciting year for me.
Back to Wally.
Uh-oh, we got trouble in 1.
Stanton Barrett, hang on. Ugh. And the red flag is out. Stanton had completed his first lap in 27.757 seconds.
19th fast. Is that right?
Yep, 19th fastest on the first lap, but now he's got a mangled up race car. And that flush hit on the left side like that, it's going to leave him a lot of work to do to fix it.
Got loose getting in. Car got away from him as he turned down into the corner. Then you get up in the marbles, and you're going for the ride.
Looking at it from the other side, and it's still going to be as ugly.
Yeah, still going to hit just as hard.
Yeah. That's too bad. Look how far that moved that nose piece over when it hit the hood popping like that.
That's definitely a backup car.
So Stanton Barrett brings out the red flag in NASCAR Busch Series qualifying.
Getting along good with the guys, so I'm looking. You know, qualifying for me is always my nervous day, and race day is fun. I really look forward to racing. That's when I mean, I sleep good the night before a race, and lately I got a new outlook, man. I'm just glad to be here, Mark. You know how it is. It's a tough business, and I'm glad to be holding the steering wheel.
Alan, he could be a real challenger tomorrow. He's a former runner-up here at Pikes Peak.
Yeah, qualified 11th fastest. That's Tim Fedowa. Jimmy Kitchens wrestling his way around the track.
And I, you know, what Tim was talking about qualifying, I think that's with just about all the drivers anymore.
Yeah.
Qualifying is just nerve-wracking. It's very, very difficult, and race day is a lot of fun, but it's tough.
Jason Schuler next up to make his qualifying run. 9 cars left to go here at Pikes Peak, and among them a couple of the faster cars in practice, Scott Wimmer and Bobby Hamilton Jr. The first and fourth fastest cars in practice, respectively.
How many cars have you qualified?
In my life?
Yeah.
None.
None.
How many of you?
A lot. And I hated it. I hate qualifying.
Yeah.
It's so easy to screw up, because you normally overdrive the race car. You go in and you try to get more than what you should, and that wiggle comes up on the stopwatch, and kills you.
It's been kind of interesting this year watching with the changes they made to the Formula One rules, where now they've gone to the one-lap qualifying format. Whereas qualifying was fairly predictable for them in the past when a guy had 5 laps or more, he had an hour to get it right.
Right.
Now with that one shot,
that's right,
and the fuel regulations, you really see some of these F1 guys feeling the pressure of that single lap too.
Absolutely. You can, sometimes it takes a guy 2 or 3 laps to get in the rhythm, and there's some guys that can go out and hit it right off the bat. And like you say, if you blow it, all right, I'll just slow down and do it again. Can't do that here.
27th on his first lap for Jason Schuler. Looking to make his 4th Busch Series start here at Pikes Peak, and he moves up a couple of spots on lap number 2 to 25th position. 28-12. Fastest man in practice yet to run,
He
Ralph.
should be real good for the race tomorrow, I would think.
Yeah, they just go back if the temperature's what it was in practice earlier. They've got great notes, and that's good.
Here's Jerry Robertson of Arvada, Colorado. NASCAR Weekly Racing Series presented by Dodge Competitor. He is leading this region of the country in that competition and 2nd in the national standings, he told me this morning. Jerry and I shared a laugh a couple of years back, 2000. He was a regional champion in the Weekly Racing Series and came to the banquet in Orlando to get his trophies, and he had lost his voice. And so I had to make a disclaimer for him. I was master ceremonies for the function before he came up on stage to let everyone know that, he was going to try and speak, but they weren't likely to understand what he was going to say.
And did they?
No. But it was a nice check and a nice trophy that he got. Jerry looking to make his 5th NASCAR Busch Series start. Last one he made was here, July 2001. 28th out of 36 in his Bud Pole qualifying effort. So another one of the home area drivers in the field for tomorrow's 250 here at Pikes Peak. And then there were 7.
Protected face of Stanton Barrett, and just over his shoulder, the torn up race car that he crawled out of. I'm glad to see you were able to crawl out of it. What was it that got you into that predicament, Stanton?
And I guess just pushing hard and probably went in a little too hard, but my car was just a little bit loose, I guess, with the weather change and stuff, or maybe something they did to the car between our practice, because it felt decent in practice. But just trying hard, I'm trying to keep up the reputation that I had in the Roush car. We just don't have the stuff and to do it, but didn't kill the car too bad until the wrecker got a hold of it too. They wrecked it as bad as I did after that. So I don't know, maybe hopefully the engine will run tomorrow. They towed it in with it in gear all the way in, and just unfortunate. Just trying to make something happen here, and I love this track too, and I've lived close to here for several years, so I like Colorado, but we'll try to put it back together and make a few laps and come back another day.
All right, Stan, glad to see you're okay. Wally, did you ever have a wrecker destroy one of your race cars?